Good morning and welcome to a day in my life with my horse Liberty. We start off in the morning with breakfast and she gets a little bit of grass, hay, and soaked alfalfa cubes. Next up, we're headed to the barn to get some work done. We had a little bit of trouble getting in the trailer, which is unusual, but we got it figured out in the end. Once we did get to the barn, somebody was running a weed whacker, which stressed Liberty out just a little bit, but once she saw that it was nothing to be afraid of, she was good. Next, it's time to groom. Right now I'm using a harder brush to help scrape off any dust or mud, and then I'm using a soft body brush to help get any of the loose dirt that I missed.
And then this is one thing that I've been working on with her, is getting her to just stand still at the trailer and stand straight at the trailer, because it's one of my pet peeves when horses are wiggly and they stand parallel to the trailer, and it especially is a little frustrating if you have multiple horses on the trailer and then everybody's in each other's way. So I'm making sure that is a big focus of our training, is making sure she's standing still at the trailer at all times. Now that I've brushed her, I'm going to pick out her feet. She's usually really good for her feet as well. And another thing I do in picking up feet is I'll pick it up and bring her foot forward like a farrier would, so that she get out of my face, please. Bye. I like to bring her feet forward because then she knows what that motion's like. And then when farrier comes to do work with her, she'll stand perfect and be good. On this one, her right side is definitely her harder side. So this foot, she's a little bit wiggly on. So I'm just gonna stay here, not release pressure until I get the reaction I want. That was good. Girl. Good. Since I had a little extra trouble on this foot, I'm gonna come back to it. Just do it one more time. So now that Liberty is all groomed, she's ready to go into the arena and start work. So one of the things I've been working with is working with Liberty off her right side, because I've done most of the work off the left side, since that's technically the proper side that most people work off of, and I've kind of neglected her right side, and I've noticed that she sometimes gets a little nervous when I try and work on her right side, especially just walking. I'll usually spend just a good chunk of our time walking around. Walk on, a little faster. Right now I'm actually really happy she's walking in a great line with me, and I feel like she's really got her attention on me. That's another one of her little quirks that I've been working with. I don't know if it's so much a quirk or is that she has a baby brain and she doesn't have much of an attention span. So I've been working her to try and make sure she keeps her attention on me, because she'll be looking all over the place out in. Actually, I have a little cue trained in that is I just say attention. Whenever, like here, she's turning her head away, attention. No, just say attention and then attention. If she doesn't respond to just my verbal cue, then I'll give her a little pull on the lead rope until she comes back. So I'm not asking for her to be perfectly paying attention 100% of the time, but I do want her to know that I just want her to keep me in the corner of her eye, keep flicking her hair back to me, just thinking about me every once in a while. So compared to last week when I started to work on her right side, this is leaps and bounds better, and this is almost identical to what working on her left side looks like, so I'm really proud of that. And I really like that she's putting her head down here, because this is another thing I've been working on. Like I said, she kind of sticks her head and neck up and gets all tight. If she ever puts her head up, I just put a little tension or a little pressure at the pole just by touching with my finger and wait for her to put her head down. So every time she brings her head up, I'll stop her and make sure she puts her head down. She's actually doing really good with this today. So like the cue that I have, this is attention, which is bringing her head back to me and keeping her eye on and flicking her hair back at me. I have one that's kind of the opposite, and it's bubble. When she's going to turn her head and going to kind of be in my personal space bubble, I train that bubble, and then when I say bubble, I expect them to move their head out of my space and back into their own. And then if they don't work off the verbal cue, then I kind of point, do a little snap, ooh. So back to the bubble cue, kind of snap at them. If I have a free hand right now, I have a lead rope in my hand, so it's a little hard to snap. So I'll either point, and then if none of those work, I'll give a little tap on the lead rope to get him out of my space, because I really value a horse that can pay attention to you and be loved on, yet still respect personal boundaries. So after I've walked her around for a decent amount of time, I'm going to come in, I'm going to start doing some flexing exercises and moving side to side, like side passing and pivoting. So the first thing I like to do is just get her to flex her neck. So I'm going to ring my lead rope around her opposite side and add pressure until she brings her head around. That's good. Ask again, because now she's kind of just looking out there. I'm going to ask her to turn even farther and look back at me. Good girl. One more time. See where she's backing up. She's given the wrong answer, so I'm not going to change the cue. I'm not going to change what I'm asking for until she gives me the right answer. Good girl. Good girl. I'm going to move over and just do this thing on the opposite side. That's another one that I've been working on, is sometimes when I was going to pass in front of her and move to her opposite side, she'd try and move with me because she didn't want me to cross over. So I've done some work with that, and that's gotten a lot better. So the next thing that I've been working on with her a lot, and I'm starting to get proud of, is some showmanship things. So like pivoting and setting up. Setting up is, we're still working on it. Ooh, good girl. But she is starting to figure it out. Set. 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 Good girl. And then I also train into my horses. I say set back, set front when I want them to move back or front specifically. Set back. Good girl. And then I'm going to compete on this one because this is the one I wanted to move and she moved it. So I'm going to let her know that was the right answer. The thing I've been working on and that she is actually starting to pick up really well is her pivots. So instead of just using my lead rope, I'm going to bring my hand over to her shoulder to show that I want her to just cross over and only move her front end around the back. She was doing pretty, she's kind of starting to pick up the fact, or the idea of holding her back pivot over. And I also kind of like to, oh, hey, you're so close. I like to do a little rock back so they shift, so the horse shifts their weight onto their back feet and then I push them over. So then that helps them stay pivoting and holding that back foot. Good girl, that was close. So just like with the setting up, that was not perfect. She kind of gave me a shuffle step with her front feet, which isn't correct, but it was close. And then second step I took, she kind of brought her outside foot over. It still wasn't a full crossover, but it was better than before. And she held her back foot for a couple steps. I liked that last step. She held that back foot that I wanted her to, and she crossed over in front. So I think I'm going to be done with the pivot for today. And then I am working on getting a pivot on the right side as well. But like I said, her right side, she's a little rusty on, and I've decided that it's just going to be basically restarting on her right side, only asking simple things so far. And I don't think she's quite ready to start figuring out a pivot on this foot or on this side yet. Ooh. Ooh. So I'm backing her up here because I asked her to stop and she kind of just blew through me, picked up her head and got strong. Didn't really listen to me, so I made her stop and back up so she learns that's not the right answer. Then she's also bringing her head up, so I'm going to do this little exercise. Good girl. Next thing I've been working on is our trot. Jogging. Good girl. It's a very good girl. And like when I work her on the right side, I'm trying not to do too much too fast. So I'm not going to make sure this trot is perfect right now. I am going to start incrementally asking for it to get a little bit better. So I'm going to ask her to slow down a little bit. Jog. Not that much, Liberty. Good girl. So she's not all the way out in front of me. Really like this line where she's at. Pretty in line with me. I'm really proud of that trot. I was expecting her, since it's the first time working on the trot today, to have a little bit of energy, get excited, but she actually did really good. So I usually like to just wind down by scratching her in all her favorite places, letting her hang out. Because I feel like that was a very good training session I'm proud of. She did all the things I asked her to. Some of them could have been better, but they also could have been worse. So I'm taking the win, and I think it'll only get better from there.
So now we are back home, and one of my favorite things to do with Liberty is if I ever see her laying down in her stall, I like to go out and just sit with her, be able to spend some quality time, not asked to do anything. Now we're getting ready to braid Liberty's mane. She usually does really good about spray bottle, but I do like to hold out and let her see first. Now I'm getting dinner and breakfast ready for the horses. We scoop out hay cubes and weigh them to each horse's needs. And Liberty is getting her grass hay here, and I missed that I accidentally threw the string in with the hay, so I had to go in and grab it out. Now Liberty is getting her soaked alfalfa cubes for the night.
This has been a day in my life with my horse Liberty, and thank you for joining me.